Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Thursday, the 19th of September 2024. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, plenty of economic news over the past 24 hours. The Australian Bureau of Statistics labour force statistics show that 47,500 new jobs were created last month, mostly part-time roles. The overall unemployment rate was unchanged at 4.2%. While more people are looking for work, there are more jobs to go around. While the leading indicators of the labour market suggest it will slow, it's only doing so very slowly. Also, overnight, the US Federal Reserve cut the benchmark rate in the world's biggest economy by 50 basis points. The era of easing has begun, with the Fed signalling more reductions are on the way. It's the first cut in more than 4 years and leaves the Fed funds target rate at between 4.75% and 5%. Story number 2, well, it's the fallout from the US rate cut and the employment figures. Combined, they helped push the local market to a new record close of 8,182 points, but not before it briefly touched 8,200 points at about 3 o'clock today. The big iron ore miners did well following a rise in the price of the commodity. Rio jumped 3.4%, BHP nearly 3%, and Fortescue Metals Group nearly 2%. Woodside was also up, rising 1.2%. Staying in the resources sector, the uranium stocks did well. James Hardie's jumped 5%, while Goodman, ANZ and Macquarie Group all rose. Worst of the large caps were QBE, Transurban and REA Group. In corporate news, engineering company Monadelphous Group unveiled new contracts totaling $230 million. Commercial explosives maker Orica expects earnings to be above previous forecasts for the September half year. And Brisbane-based testing giant ALS said its minerals business has faced volume headwinds, triggering a 9% drop in its share price, the worst of the top 200. Story number 3, Australia has abstained from a United Nations vote calling on Israel to end its unlawful presence in Palestine. The United Nations General Assembly adopted a Palestinian-drafted resolution demanding Israel end its unlawful presence in the occupied Palestinian territory within 12 months. The resolution received 124 votes in favour, while 43 countries, including Australia, abstained, and Israel, the United States, and 12 others voted no. Foreign Affairs Minister Penny Wong told ABC Radio the government looked very carefully at the resolution and sought amendments that meant the resolution better reflected the July opinion of the International Court of Justice. That said, Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories and settlements was illegal and should be withdrawn. That's different to unlawful presence. When the amendments weren't forthcoming, Australia decided to abstain. Story number 4, Woolworths is under pressure to ditch the Big W discount chain and spin off its New Zealand division and return to focusing on supermarkets. Woolies has been the underperformer of the big 2 supermarket chains, with Coles outperforming in terms of sales growth. It's also considered a simpler business than Woolies. Activist shareholder Dushko Bajic from First Sentier Investors, which has a small position in the supermarket giant, said the Big W business is destroying capital, according to a report in the AFR. Big W competes with Kmart and Target and has struggled for several years. Blackwattle Investment Partners Ray Davis said that the New Zealand supermarkets division hasn't performed well and could be sold off. Woolies has expanded aggressively in New Zealand, now has about 200 stores. The comments were directed to new Woolies CEO Amanda Bardwell. She started in the job 3 weeks ago. And story number 5, walkie-talkies and solar equipment exploded across Lebanon this morning, Australian time, in an apparent second wave of attacks targeting devices a day after pages used by Hezbollah blew up. At least 14 people were killed and more than 450 wounded in the second wave, according to Hezbollah. The attacks are widely believed to have been carried out by Israel targeting Hezbollah and have escalated fears of an all-out war in the region. Several blasts were heard at a funeral in Beirut for 3 Hezbollah members and a child killed by the exploding pages the day before. The toll from the 2 days of blasts is now 32 dead, including at least 2 children, and more than 3,000 injured. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said the country is entering a new phase of fighting on its northern border with Lebanon. That's it for the afternoon report for Thursday, the 19th of September, 2024. Michael Thompson and I will be back tomorrow morning with the Friday edition of Fear and Greed Business News. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.